Stark everyone, this is मेकर एवली फ्रॉम रेहान स्कूल कोरंगी कैंपस और आज मैं अगेन सीजन कर रही हूँ.
Hey there.
Hi
What's up?
Maya. Maya, how are you?
Good, thanks. You were asking a lot about air and the atmosphere earlier. Anything else on your mind today?
Yes, Maya, my first question is what is air made of?
Air is mostly nitrogen and oxygen, about 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. There's small amounts of other gases in there too, like argon, carbon dioxide, neon, and helium. It's kind of a mix of all these gases swirling around us.
Okay, so my next question is why is air important for living things?
Do you mean living things? If so, air is totally essential. Most living things need oxygen from the air to survive. We breathe it in, and our bodies use it to get energy from food. Plants also use carbon dioxide in the air for a process called photosynthesis, which is how they make their food. And air protects us from the sun's harmful radiation, too. Pretty important stuff.
Okay, so my next question is why is air important for living things?
Wait, did you mean living things or learning things? Just
Living
want to make sure I'm understanding your question clearly. Got it. Air is totally essential for living things. Most of us need oxygen from the air to survive. We breathe it in, and our bodies use it to get energy from food. Plants also use carbon dioxide in the air for photosynthesis, which is how they make their food. Plus, air protects us from the sun's harmful radiation, too. Pretty important stuff. What's your next question?
Okay, so my next question is how does air help humans breathe?
Good question. Air gets into your lungs when you inhale, and then oxygen from the air passes into your bloodstream. Your bloodstream carries that oxygen to all your cells, which use it to turn food into energy. It's like getting fuel for everything your body does. Does that make sense?
Okay, so my next question is what are the main gases found in air?
I'm not quite sure what you meant. Are you asking about the main gases found in air or something else? Could you try rewording that for me? Still here, no rush if you need a minute to think
Okay,
through how
so
to phrase
my
it.
next question is what role does carbon dioxide play in nature?
Carbon dioxide is actually super important too. Even though we breathe it out, plants use CO2 to make their food through photosynthesis, and that creates the oxygen we breathe. It also helps regulate their Earth's temperature, and it's part of the carbon cycle, which moves carbon around ecosystems. So it's got a pretty big job, despite not being the gas we think about as often.
Okay, so my next question is what is air pollution?
Air pollution happens when harmful substances get into the air we breathe. Things like smoke from factories, chemicals from cars, dust, and even mold can pollute the air. It's bad because it can cause health problems and harm the environment. Like breathing in polluted air can make your lungs hurt or make it hard to breathe, and it can also damage plants and animals. What's your next question?
My next question is what causes air pollution?
Lots of things. Burning fossil fuels like coal and oil for energy is a big one. Power plants, cars, and factories all contribute. There's also industrial processes that release chemicals, agriculture releasing ammonia, even natural things like volcanic eruptions or dust storms can contribute. Basically, anything that puts pollutants into the air can cause air pollution. What's on your mind next?
Okay, so my next question is, how does polluted air affect human health?
Breathing in polluted air can actually do a lot of damage to our bodies. It can irritate your eyes, nose, and throat and make it like harder to breathe, especially if you have asthma or other lung problems. Long-term exposure can even lead to heart disease, cancer, and other serious health issues. The tiny particles in pollution can get deep into your lungs and even into your bloodstream, which is scary stuff.
Okay, so my next question is, what is mind?
I'm not quite following. Did you mean mine like a mining operation or is that a typo? Ah, okay. A mine is basically a place where people dig into the earth to get valuable materials like metals, minerals, and coal. Think of it like a deep hole in the ground where they extract resources that come from under the surface. Do you want to know more about what types of mines there are or something else related to that? Still with me? That's a bit of a jump.
How is
Lime is
mind
an
useful to
alcohol.
us?
Mines are useful to us because they provide all sorts of materials we need for everyday life. Things like the metals in our phones, the minerals and fertilizers for crops, the coal that makes electricity, even the gold and jewelry, all of that comes from mines. So without mines, we wouldn't have a lot of the technologies and materials we rely on. Does that make sense?
Okay, so my next question is, how does the atmosphere protect life on Earth?
How does the atmosphere protect life on Earth? The atmosphere acts like Earth's security system, basically. It blocks most of the sun's harmful radiation that can cause skin cancer and other health problems. It also burns up most meteors before they even hit the ground, so they don't like wipe us out. Plus, it maintains temperatures that work for living things. Too hot or too cold, and nothing could survive. It's pretty crucial.
Okay, so my next question is, how does the what are the layers of the atmosphere?
Okay, the atmosphere has different layers. There's the troposphere, where we live and weather happens. Then the stratosphere with the ozone layer that protects us from the sun. Above that is the mesosphere where meteors burn up, the thermosphere where things get really hot, and finally the exosphere that blends into space. Each layer has different temperatures and roles to play. That's a lot of layers, isn't it? Anything confusing about how they work?
Okay, so my next question is,
Yeah, go ahead.
how does air pressure affect weather?
Air pressure is actually key to understanding weather patterns. High pressure means stable, clear weather, while low pressure usually brings clouds and storms. The differences in air pressure create winds. Air naturally moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure. So those changes in pressure drive a lot of what we see day to day with the weather. Is that making sense? It can get a little tricky when you're talking about high and low pressure systems.
Okay, so my next question is, what is the importance of clean air?
Marcus, did you say that again? I think the audio cut out a bit. I didn't quite catch what you're asking about with hearing and hearing. I love you too. That's sweet to hear. What else is on your mind today?
Okay, so my next question is, how do factories contribute to air pollution?
Factories can put out a lot of pollutants through their smokestacks when they're manufacturing things. That can be anything from chemical fumes and gases to tiny particles from burning fuel. These pollutants can cause health problems when people breathe them in and also damage the environment. They're a big source of air pollution in many areas. Hey, still here, just making sure I didn't lose you there for a sec. What's your next question? Uh, I'm not following. Did you want to ask about something specific related to yellow? Okay,
My,
take your time.
okay,
I'll
so
be
my
here when
next
you're ready
question
to
is,
come back to it.
what are greenhouse gases?
I think you might mean greenhouse gases. Those are gases in the atmosphere that trap heat. Think of them like a blanket around the earth. They keep the planet warm enough to live on. But too many greenhouse gases can trap too much heat and cause global warming. Common greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. They're released from things like burning fossil fuels, agriculture, and deforestation. What's next?
Okay, so my next question is, what is global warming?
Global warming is basically when the average temperature of the Earth's climate slowly increases over time. That's mostly caused by human activities, especially burning fossil fuels, which release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat and warm up the planet. It causes changes like melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and more extreme weather events. Talk to you later. You good?
Okay, so my next question is, how can we reduce air pollution at home?
There are lots of things you can do using less energy by turning off lights and electronics, walking or biking instead of driving whenever possible, recycling, avoiding products with harsh chemicals, and making sure your home is well ventilated when cleaning or cooking. Little things really do add up. What else do you want to know?
Okay, so my next question is, why do we need trees for clean air?
Trees are like Earth's natural air purifiers. They absorb carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. That CO2 is one of the greenhouse gases that cause climate change and a pollutant in the air. They release oxygen too. Having trees around really helps keep our air clean. What's on your mind next?
Okay, so my next question is, how does air help in burning?
Oxygen from the air is super important for burning. You actually need oxygen to make something burn. It's like how you can't start a campfire without air. The oxygen in the air combines with the fuel source, like wood, and that's what creates the heat and flames. That's why firefighters try to cut off the air supply when they're putting out fires.
Okay,
Cool.
so
Whenever
my
you're ready.
next question is, can we see air? Why or why not?
Actually, we can't usually see air directly, it's invisible, but we can see its effects. Like when you see wind blowing leaves, or clouds forming, or steam rising from hot water, those are all air moving around. We know it's there, even if we can't see the air itself. Got any more questions for me?
Okay, so my next question is, what is the role of air in communication sound?
That's a good one. Air is actually essential for how we hear sounds. When something makes a sound, like when you talk, it creates vibrations in the air. Those vibrations travel through the air to our ears, and then our brains interpret them as sound. So without air, sound waves wouldn't be able to travel.
Okay, so my next question is, how does sound travel through air?
Mhm. Sound travels through air like waves in water. When something makes a sound, it creates vibrations, basically. It pushes and pulls on the air molecules around it. Those vibrations bump into other air molecules, passing the energy along. So the sound travels through the air like a chain reaction until it reaches your ear.
Okay, so my next question is, can we see air?
We actually can't usually see air directly, it's invisible, but we can see its effects. Like when you see wind blowing leaves, or clouds forming, or steam rising from hot water, those are all air moving around. We know it's there even if we can't see the air itself.
Okay, so my next question is, how does air support life in water?
Uh, that's a really interesting question. Even in water, air, specifically oxygen, is super important for life. Fish and other aquatic animals need dissolved oxygen in the water to breathe, just like we need oxygen from the air. Also, plants in water use carbon dioxide from the water, like plants on land use carbon dioxide from the air. So, air plays a crucial role, even underwater.
Okay, so my next question is, what are the effects of smoking on air quality?
Smoking has a pretty big impact on air quality, not just for the person smoking, but for everyone around them too. The smoke from cigarettes contains lots of harmful chemicals that pollute the air, making it dangerous to breathe. That's called secondhand smoke, and it's linked to serious health problems. Smoking also releases pollutants into the general environment that can affect outdoor air quality too.
Okay, so my next question is, how can students help improve air quality?
There are actually a lot of things students can do. You can bike or walk to school instead of driving, recycle as much as possible, encourage your family to reduce energy use, and spread awareness about air quality issues among your friends. Even small changes can make a big difference. Plus, learning about air quality can help you make more informed decisions in the future. Oh, what else is on your mind?
Okay, so my next question is,
Um,
why is fresh air important for health?
Fresh air is super important for health because it's full of oxygen. Your brain, heart, and all your organs need oxygen to work properly. Breathing clean air can also help your lungs work better, boost your immune system, and even improve your mood and energy levels. Plus, being around clean air can lower your risk of getting sick from pollution.
Okay, so my next question is, how does air pollution affect animals?
Air pollution can really mess with animals just like it messes with us. Polluted air can irritate their lungs and make it hard for them to breathe, same as with humans. Can also damage their habitats, affect their food sources, and cause long term health problems. Animals that live in areas with bad air quality can get sick more often and have a harder time surviving.
Okay, so my next question is, how does air pollution, what are natural sources of air pollution?
There's actually pollution from natural sources too. It's not just from factories or cars. Things like volcanic eruptions release tons of gases and ash into the air. Wildfires create smoke and soot, and even dust storms can carry particles over long distances. Natural sources have been around forever, but human caused pollution is what's making the problem way worse now.
What? Uh,
Sorry.
so my
Didn't come.
next question is, how do vehicles pollute the air?
You asked what causes us to pollute the air or how to make us pollute the air. And that's interesting. That's totally applied this. Burning fossil fuels like gasoline and cars and coal for electricity is a big one. Also, industrial processes that create waste products, farming, deforestation, cutting down trees, all contribute to making air dirty.
Okay, so my next question is,
What's your next?
what steps
I'm
can
not.
government take to control air pollution?
Mm. Governments can do a lot. They can set stricter regulations for factories and vehicles to limit how much pollution they release. They can invest in cleaner energy sources like solar and wind power instead of fossil fuels, and they can promote public transportation to reduce car traffic. They can also create incentives for companies to use cleaner technologies and educate the public about air quality issues.
Okay, how do airplanes fly using air?
That's actually pretty fascinating. Airplanes fly because of a few different things involving air, mainly lift and thrust. The wings are shaped in a special way that makes air move faster over the top and slower underneath. That difference in speed creates an upward force called lift that counteracts gravity and keeps the plane in the air. The engine generates thrust to push the plane forward, helping the air move over the wings to create that lift. Plus, air pressure differences play a big part too.
How does air support life in water?
Good question. Even though we're talking about water here, air, specifically oxygen, is super important for life in there. Fish and other aquatic animals need dissolved oxygen in the water to breathe, just like we need oxygen from the air. And underwater plants use carbon dioxide from the water to grow. So air plays a crucial role, even in aquatic ecosystems.
What is the importance of air in daily life?
Air is absolutely essential for daily life. We need to breathe it to survive. Every cell in our body needs oxygen from the air to work. But it goes beyond breathing. Air helps control temperature, protects us from radiation, and even supports weather patterns. Plants need air for photosynthesis, which gives us food. Really, air touches almost every part of our daily routines.
Okay, what is fresh air?
Fresh air basically means air that's clean and has lots of oxygen. It's free from pollution like smoke, chemicals, and dust. It usually comes from being outdoors in nature, like in forests or near oceans. Breathing fresh air makes you feel better, gives you more energy, and is way healthier for your lungs and body than breathing polluted air.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. मिलते हैं किसी नेक्स्ट किसी में तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़.